So I want to be really real with you guys in this video so that you feel inspired to live out your vulnerabilities and understand that your past does not define you. And I've spoken a little bit about my depression and anxiety that do not define me, but is a part of my journey before. And I'm going to share a few of the things I've been through as I was dealing with that so that you understand like growth is possible for you. You don't have to cling to what's comfortable. Let me just get into it. So when I was in high school, as you guys know, that was the darkest time of my life, and I was sneaking out all the time. My parents were calling the cops on me a lot. I was not listening to my parents whatsoever. I was giving them a really hard time so shout out to my parents, because if they gave up on me, I would have given up on myself. So they really held the grounds. I was going to raves and in my underwear, and I was with the wrong crowd at the time, but I smoked a lot of weed, you know, nothing against that, but it was interfering with my ability to focus on school. And it's so interesting to like talk about it because it's like my story, you know? You like look back on your life, you're like, who was I? Like, why, how did that happen? But yeah, I went home with strippers before. I was literally like 17 years old doing this shit. I have hitchhiked motorcycles. I did a lot of reckless stuff because quite frankly, I did not care about my life. And that's how I know there's a God, because I'm here alive today. I put myself in so many dangerous situations, jumped off bridges. Like, I did all of the adrenaline stuff because I wanted to feel alive. I felt so numb from my depression. I just wanted to feel something. So I would put myself in these reckless situations in order to feel something. So at the time, that's what felt right for me. But now looking back, like, I understand why I was doing what I was doing, but also I've spoken about going to performing arts schools growing up. And at the time when I left Dreyfus, I left after literally one semester because of how cutthroat it was. People were literally like spreading rumors about me that I was gonna smoke weed and drop out of high school and like be this like stoner loser or something. I don't even know. I was like, yeah, wow, like love the belief in me. Like obviously I didn't respond to that, but I was like, huh, like noted. Interesting that that's what you think of me. So in high school though, I was suffering very badly from depression and anxiety. So I had a 2.8 GPA. I was always on my guidance counselor's office. I was always talking to one of my mentors, Dr. G, and I barely made it through. Like, I was fighting for my life during that time. I was literally like struggling with my very existence, so I could not focus on school. And I went to community college shortly after that, and I went to go get my AA. And long story short, I met someone. We traveled the country together in a van for 6 to 7 months in 2018. And I dropped out of school and I did that. And that was great. I saw a lot of the country and I don't regret it. You know, obviously I had to go back to school later in life and finish my degree, but I did end up doing that. So at the end of the van travels, we moved to Asheville, North Carolina, where a lot of my older videos are filmed. And we went through a breakup. 3.5 years we were together and I moved out on my own. I had my mattress in my car. I started a GoFundMe page for those of you who remember that in around like 2020. That was during COVID, so it was freaking rough out there. And I raised over $2,000 from the Asheville community to get me on my feet and to get me started and just find my own place. I remember it was one of the first nights that I was on my own. I think it was the first night. And I went to a Walmart parking lot so that I could sleep in my car. And at the time, I was a part of an Abraham Hicks group. And the owner of that group, she reached out to me and she said, Claudia, like, you're not sleeping in your car. And she sent me to someone's house to sleep there. And I didn't even know this person. And she had this gorgeous house, these beautiful animals. and I slept in, it sounds dangerous, but it wasn't. I trusted my gut, and I had shelter for the night. And shortly after that, her daughter helped me find housing, and I moved into a temporary situation in like a communal home. And eventually I was like, I'm done with roommates. Like, I want my own place. And I was able to, from selling a lot of my material and the donations from the community, I was able to find my own grounding and get my own place. It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it was $1,000 a month, which sounds so cheap now. Literally, $1,000 a month. And I moved there and I started filming videos and sharing my story. And I ended up being really lonely in Nashville, so I moved to Orlando to be close to my mom. And I thought I was gonna backpack Europe. I literally was like, I'm gonna go solo, I'm gonna go travel. And because of the COVID restrictions, I couldn't. So I ended up going back to school, and I was working at a wellness center at the time. And my boss was like, you would thrive at Rollins College. I was contemplating between Rollins and UCF. And so I went to Rollins College and ended up graduating in the top 10% of my class with a 3.8 GPA. And the moral of that story is, your past does not define you. You don't have to cling to the old version of who you were. You need to find healthy coping mechanisms so that you can continue to elevate in life and rise. Because that depression, it's gonna try to bring you down. That anxiety is gonna make you freak out like you can't do what you want to do. But you need to put those doubts aside and truly believe in yourself and say, I got this. Because literally after that breakup, it was my goal. I was like, I'm getting straight A's. I was like, I am getting straight A's for the next 2 years of my college career. I only got 1B. 1B. And I was pissed about that. But, you know, you have to put your mind to it and become the version you want to be. If I didn't, I'd still be freaking out raves, you know, chilling with the wrong crowd, doing whatever. Like, you have to constantly elevate in life. You can't just stay in the old place, you know? Like, you have to keep going, keep going, keep going. So life will continuously unfold, and it's up to you to take responsibility for your growth and read the books, do the courses, go back to school if you want, better yourself, so that you can have a better quality of life. I hope that some of my story from my past has inspired you to recognize that you can step into the most powerful version of yourself every day. Every day you can make the choice to change your life. And that's a really powerful realization. So own it.